Okay, so now we're going to do the other two side elevations. We're going to start with the west elevation. You notice you've got a lot of dimensions here. We've got the roof pitch, which we already had the dimensions, so we didn't need the pitch. But let me show you my AutoCAD file. And here we are. I've got my building, I've got my front elevation done. So now I want to draw this elevation. So what I'm going to do is use my side elevation to get all the heights. So I'm going to copy this, bring it over here, and then I'm going to rotate it. And I need to move it over a little bit more. So get a little out of the way. Okay. I think I'm still a little too close. And see what I did? I missed a little piece, didn't move with the rest of my building. So now I'm going to extend this ground line, and I can just do it by grabbing the end of it and pulling it down, having my ortho on. And again, it's easiest if you start with the outside first and then do the inside. So I'm going to start with the outside walls of the building. Diana, watch. And then I'm going to take, this is a good trick. So this little overhang and the wall are at the same angle, or at the same piece as the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and these things, grab them from the bottom. I'm going to move it here and here. Then I know the top of this roof is right there, right? So I'm going to take a line from the top of that roof across here, trim it out, and now I can go from the midpoint of this one, and see, because I had picked that midpoint already, it snaps to the midpoint because I had selected that, and I'm going to go over to here. So it's selecting to mid and end points. And I'm alternating my F8 and F3. If you look down at the bottom down here, you'll see, like, you'll notice how this will go on and off. That's I'm using my F8 key. My F3 key is this one. That's my object snap. And I'm going to offset this 10 inches. And I'm going to have a fillet, right? And so now I can get rid of these lines. Oops. Yeah, I can get rid of all of these lines. And I always find it easier to get rid of lines that I'm not using anymore, just so they're not confusing me. So that's why I was trying to get you to bring all the windows over one at a time. So now I'm going to grab the top of that back building. I'm going to carry that over to here. And then the roof also offsets 12 inches on both sides, so I need to get that piece in. So what I've drawn here, top of the roof, and then I can come in and I'm going to take a medium white line. I can grab the edge of that fascia board and bring it over. Now I don't need this, well, I do need that line. And I'm going to grab the fascia board on the other side. Let's bring it. Now I can start trimming up the building and it'll start to make sense. Oops, I made a mistake there. Trim this and this. And I can get rid of these. So now the ridge of the roof is the farthest away, so I'm going to make that a lightweight line. I'm going to make the edges of the building that's set back a medium weight line. Now I can pull down my steps and I can pull down the door, and I'm missing the window on my drawing here. But your drawing will end up looking, I'll finish this later and show it to you, but your drawing will end up with the window here, done the same way you've done this one. And then to do this elevation, now I could have rotated this like this, so I was looking at it straight on. What I want to do is this elevation, and this one's really cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the whole south side, take it over here, and I'm going to mirror it. Yeah. And then I want to erase the source, yes. So now I want to line it up. So if I move to line it up, I know I want, I think I didn't grab everything. I want this wall to line up with here. So I pull that over to here. Looks like I might already be lined up. And now I can rotate it around so that south is up and I'm looking at the north elevation. This one's really super easy in that I just get rid of all this stuff. I can pull the window lines down. And then I can just take this window and move it over. And I'm going to type in near. I think it's the same width. And I've got that window there. I take this out. And get rid of all these. And then, oops, I won't do that. What I can do is I can then mirror. I can take all of this and I can mirror it about this center point. And I come down, oops. Here, all of this guy, I want a center point right here. I want to take object snap off, and I want to come down there. Delete source object, no. So now I've got, if I erase all these, I've got my window here. But do you see how this is a little bit darker yellow right there?
Yes.
That means because I have overlapping lines. So I'm going to highlight the whole thing. I'm going to type in overkill. And it'll say combine collinear objects when they partially overlap. I'll say OK. And now I've just got one line. So that back elevation takes seconds. Once you get that done, we'll go back to north being up. And I'm going to repeat this for the video. If you play with this, you could get in some really weird, funky location, or you could end up at the bottom. And it might look the same to you until you go to print it. So there's always this home button. Take the home button, click on top, and it'll put north back at the top. So I've got all this done. Now I want to go to the layer properties, and I want to create a new layer. And I want to layer this hatch. And I want to pick a light gray. And transparency, oh, we'll set that when we set the line weights. So I wanted you to go to the hatch button, and we did this on the first part, and I wanted you to pick this ARC-189. And it will hatch anything that is a closed loop. If you have a gap in there, you're going to get an error. So you can see I'm hatching all of my walls. Hatching is pretty easy. The older versions, you used to have to draw a line around all this and fill it, and it was kind of a mess. But it's looking like a black line, even though if I zoom in, it is dashed. So I want to change the scale to 12, and now I've got a hatched line. Then I want you to put furniture in, and I'll go over it after I'm done with this where you locate furniture, and I want you to dimension. So because we already had dimensions in the other drawing, oops, turn it back on. When we transferred it over, we have all our dimension styles saved. And I'm just going to start all over on this and show you what I'm doing. So you had different, you're not going to dimension like the drawing that I gave you. That was just so you could draw it and kind of force you to think. What we're going to do is we are going to dimension to the center line of windows. The reason you dimension to the center line of windows is we would call out in the window and doors schedule how big the windows and doors were. And then we would specify their sill height and all this other stuff that you had to get from the elevation. So you're going to come over and you go to annotate, and we're at wall dimensions. I'm going to pick a linear dimension. I'm going to go from the edge to the midpoint. I don't want my dimension to be messed up with a line, so that one's okay like that. And then I'm going to do that down here. And when I click continue, I just go to the center of every window. I don't do the final one. What we're going to do for the final one is we're going to do an overall and continue that to the outside wall. So you give overall dimensions. If I had given you the dimensions this way with a door and window schedule, it probably would have been, you would have had to look up the door and window schedule, but it would have been easier. Now, what's wrong with my dimensions? Yeah, I have a break and I don't have the overhang. So what I want to do is go to wall dimensions, manage dimension styles, modify, and I want to, let's see, extend beyond ticks. I want to do, let's do 2 inches. And then text, I want to be above. And then I want to line this with dimension line. So if I say OK, close, there, it looks more like what we would do in drafting class. So then you'll go around to the side and you'll do the same way. I'll do one more side. You'll go from the end to the center. continue. And then you would do an overall. You don't need to do an overall on both sides because the bottom side's the same as the top side. So you'll do just these windows on this side. I might as well go ahead and finish it since I've started. And it's pretty easy. I'm missing 2 dimensions. I'm missing this dimension and this dimension. So I'll go and add those in. Now I don't like how far that pulled out, so I can grab it and I can pull the dimension back down a little bit. And then we have to grab the one next to it. So that's your dimensioning and your hatching. You can give the dimensions of the stairs too. And then and get all the windows in. And then the last thing is I want to show you. Okay, this should do it. So if we're on the Triton computers and we go to this PC, this AIC share drive has 2D drawings. If we click on that, down here are bed plans. So I could click bed plans and I could open it up. It'll open it up. It's a read-only file. Say OK. We'll close. I'm going to grab another one. I'm going to grab a kitchen because I'm going to show you what happens to our layers. Okay. So now I've got a kitchen. I decided I want to take this kitchen. What I can do is go to that kitchen drawing, click on it, right-click, clipboard copy, and go back to my cottage drawing and do clipboard paste. And I've got a kitchen in here. And I'll go back to my bed plans, and I'll just grab all of them, clipboard copy, clipboard paste. So now I've got this stuff in here, but look what happened to all my layers. And it can get really bad depending on what you've got, but I grabbed a whole bunch of layers that weren't there before. And I want to keep this fairly simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all these and I'm going to change them all to the furniture layer. But I have to explode them. So I have to ungroup some of these. So this one's a group, so I have to group. I'm just going to have to explode it. And now I should be able to grab them all and put them on the furniture layer. And I know I got them all. Oops, I didn't get one. This guy's a group. And now I want to clean up my layers here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in purge. I'm going to purge all items. It's going to purge groups, layers, line types, and it's confirming each one. This can get really tedious, but you see these blocks? Those are some of the blocks that I purged. So I got several blocks. Cooktop, refrigerator, sink. Now it's getting dimension styles that were associated with those drawings, and then it's all these layers. I'm going to just purge all of them. So I say close, and I go back down here, and I'm still pretty good. I've got this one weird layer. I think that had to do with the refrigerator idea. If I wanted to really get rid of it, I might have to shut off all the other layers and then find out where that is and delete it. So this is what we're going to do. This is due on Tuesday finished because we're going to print first thing, and I'm sorry, Thursday finished. We're going to print first thing and then we're done with this drawing. So I will put this up on Blackboard. But once you get this elevation drawn, the others go pretty quick.